My mom took me for a walk downtown, and I got lost when I was 2 years old. After a month of despair, she decided to adopt another daughter. She cherished her like a princess, trying to fulfill her every wish. When I was 16, Mom found me. She indulged Lily, letting her tear my new dress, and slapped me more than a dozen times, telling me to get lost. Even when Lily pushed me off the rooftop to my death, Mom helped her dispose of the body. Opening my eyes again, I saw a middle-aged woman with heavy makeup in front of me. She asked me, "Alice, dear, do you want to come home with us?" I laughed. "Why? I'm doing quite well here." The day I was pushed downstairs to my death by Mom's adopted daughter, she witnessed everything in the living room. Mom rushed over, grabbing Lily tightly and asking, "Lily, how could you be so cruel?" Lily covered her face, sobbing, "Mom, I didn't mean to. She forced me, Mom. What should I do now? I don't want to go to jail, and I don't want to lose you, Mom." Mom's face turned pale, and she broke out in a cold sweat. She took a deep breath, looked directly at my corpse, and tried to calm down, starting to plan. "Lily, listen to me. Now we need to calm down and dispose of the body carefully. If the police don't find the body, no one will know she's dead." Even though I knew my mom's love for her adopted daughter was far greater than for me, I still couldn't help but sneer when I heard these words. No, perhaps that love had ceased to exist long ago. Mom went out for a while and came back with a saw and a meat grinder. Then, she moved my body into the bathroom and began a horrific massacre. I didn't dare to go in, but hearing the crunching sounds from inside, my heart ached as if cut by a knife. They worked through the night, chopping and grinding my body into pieces, finally flushing it down the toilet. Only when the sound of the flushing stopped did I dare to enter the bathroom. Blood was still splattered on Mom's face, and her clothes were stained with my blood. She squatted on the tiled floor, wiping away every bloodstain with a rag. I never imagined my life would end at the age of 16. What hurt me the most was that the person who helped dispose of my body was my own biological mother. They cleaned up very thoroughly, and then they went to the police station to report that I was missing. I knew that every year many people go missing. Maybe years later, decades later, even a lifetime later, my death would never be discovered. But I still couldn't rest in peace and reincarnate because I was worried about Granny, the old woman who collected trash and raised me. If she knew I was dead, how heartbroken would she be? If they couldn't find me, how much pain would she endure? Perhaps heaven couldn't bear to witness my tragic situation either. Opening my eyes again, I saw the elegant and noble middle-aged woman. She was dressed formally, with delicate makeup. At this moment, her eyes were red-rimmed, and she trembled as she asked me, "Alice, is it really you? My beloved daughter, Mom has finally found you. Do you want to come home? Come home with Mom?" If I hadn't pinched myself hard, I would have thought this was just a dream. Yes, I was alive again. Having been reborn, I would never repeat the same mistakes. Seeing that I didn't speak, Mom asked again, "Alice?" In my previous life, when she asked me like this, I was overjoyed because I knew I had a mother. Therefore, I didn't notice the fleeting awkwardness in her eyes. But now I saw that awkwardness clearly, bit by bit. My mom was a successful businesswoman with her own company. My dad, only 2 months after Mom lost me, divorced her and disappeared without a trace. Mom's family was very wealthy. Adding one more person was just adding another pair of chopsticks. In my previous life, I thought I had escaped hardship, but who knew that was just the first step into hell? Clearly, I was 2 months younger than Lily, but Mom forced me to yield to her in everything. She despised Granny, who had raised me by collecting trash, feeling that I carried an unremovable stench of poverty. Not only was she cold and distant towards me, she didn't even want to publicly acknowledge that I was her daughter. I calmed down and spoke seriously, "Auntie, my name is not Alice. My name is Unparalleled. Although returning home is very good, I prefer to stay here." Hearing me say this, Mom's expression showed a hint of relief, but she still reached out to touch my head. But Mom is still not at ease leaving you in this place. If you come home with Mom, there's also a younger sister at home. You two can keep each other company. She will definitely like you too. Was she really uneasy, or was it just a formality? Clearly, in her eyes and heart, there was only Lily. As for keeping each other company, even less so. Returning home, I could only be Lily's punching bag. In fact, in my previous life, I had told Mom about the crimes Lily had committed against me. But as long as Lily said she didn't do it, Mom would blame it on childish pranks, saying I was petty and calculating. Therefore, Lily became increasingly tyrannical. Even out of jealousy for my good grades, she burned my books, cut my hair, and tore my uniform. Even so, Mom would only say that her younger sister was still young and didn't understand, telling me not to take it to heart. Looking at my hand that had been chopped into pieces, I smiled faintly. It's really not necessary, Auntie. If you really care about me, just transfer living expenses to me every month. After all, Granny and I are very poor. I'm afraid she won't agree. Afraid she wouldn't agree, I added. Moreover, when I graduate from university, I will definitely come back to live with you. In this life, I needed to plan for my own future. I was very good at studying, and my grades were always at the top of the class. Even my homeroom teacher said that as long as I maintained this performance, getting into a key university was not a problem. I could even try for Tsinghua or Peking University. But in my previous life, before I could even take the college entrance exam, I disappeared from this world just 1 month before the exam. Seeing that Mom didn't speak, I asked her again, actually, I can come home too, but before I come back, can Annie send that younger sister to an orphanage? Sure enough, Mom started to panic. She hurriedly asked me, having a younger sister isn't good? Alice, you can't be so selfish. After losing you, Mom was in great pain every day and once almost committed suicide. It was because of your younger sister that Mom was able to live until today. I knew she would absolutely not give up the adopted daughter she had raised for so long for me. Auntie, I'm just teasing you. Actually, I'm also worried about affecting my studies. Because I'm going to transfer schools soon, I need time to adapt, and I also need time to get along with my younger sister, but there's only 1 year left before my college entrance exam. I don't have time to deal with too many things. I gave many reasons, and finally, she agreed to my request. Okay, Mom will take you to get a bank card later. If you don't want to come home to live, Mom will rent a house for you after the semester transfer. Mom will transfer 10,000 yuan to your account every month. Is that enough? Also, can you not call Mom Auntie anymore? Please call me Mom. The word Mom seemed stuck in my throat, but for 10,000 yuan each month, I still endured and stiffly called out Mom. This call of Mom was indeed not wasted. Mom immediately took me to get a bank card, which also had 50,000 yuan in it. Although this amount was not much to her, for me, 50,000 yuan was a huge sum of money. Holding the bank card, I sweetly said thank you. Seeing me so well-behaved and understanding, Mom rarely showed a happy smile. Just then, Mom's phone rang. She turned her head and said to me, Mom's going to answer the phone. Lily is about the same age as you. You get to know her first. Lily sweetly said, Yes, Mom, but used a disdainful tone that only I could hear. Ugh, what's so good about talking to a country bumpkin like her? I narrowed my eyes to look at Lily. She was indeed very well nurtured. Using high-end cosmetics and being young, her skin was fair and smooth. Years of pampering made her look like a noble young lady. But she had forgotten that if Mom hadn't adopted her and let her grow up in an orphanage, perhaps she wouldn't even be as good as a country bumpkin like me. Before I could open my mouth, Lily spoke first. 10,000 yuan a month. What's there to brag about? I spend more than 100,000 yuan a month. Piano, ballet, and cultural lessons are all taught by professional teachers, and each lesson costs more than 500 yuan. Not to mention cosmetics, clothes, jewelry, and pocket money. That amount of money is just pocket change to me. But people who have never seen much money like you will probably be very satisfied, right? She looked at me with arrogant and contemptuous eyes, just like in my previous life. I just smiled. So what? I am the one who has blood relations with Mom. You are just an adopted daughter. Everything you have is because you please her. It's the favor you received, a place for my mom to place her emotional attachment after I disappeared. Do you believe it or not? If one day you displease her, you will be nothing. But I am different. Hearing what I said, Lily's eyes instantly turned red. She clenched her fists, looking at me, about to say something when Mom hung up the phone and walked towards us. Seeing me, Mom smiled again. Unparalleled, what do you want to eat? Mom will take you to eat. Lily hadn't even reacted yet when I pretended to be weak and asked Mom, can you take me to eat KFC once? Lily's eyes widened, and she blurted out in a contemptuous tone, what? Can you be a little more ambitious? Those things are all garbage. Before she finished speaking, I lowered my head and explained, I've never eaten KFC before. I've only seen it on TV. I heard my classmates say that there are hamburgers, fries, and fried chicken, and they are all very delicious. Then I raised my head again, trying to smile, and explained, but it's okay if we don't eat it. Whatever Mom says we eat, we'll eat. Mom's eyes immediately turned red. She turned her back and secretly wiped away a few wet tears. Okay, then we'll go eat KFC. Compared to being directly taken home by her in my previous life, my refusal made her pay more attention to me. We strolled through City Street, and Mom took me to eat KFC, bought new clothes, and even when she sent me back, she looked at me with lingering eyes. Ending a day's trip, I carried big bags and small bags back to my hometown. Granny was still busy in the yard. That figure was lonely and small. I couldn't imagine how she had survived that painful period after I died in my previous life. Seeming to notice something unusual, Granny stopped her work and turned her head to look behind her, discovering me standing not far away. She immediately stood up, wiped her hands on her old apron, her face full of joy. Unparalleled, why are you back? I spoke, my voice choked Granny. I stepped forward and hugged her, feeling Granny's warmth and familiar embrace. I secretly rejoiced that I was truly alive again. Granny asked worriedly, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Are you not full? I sniffled and laughed. No, I'm full. I'm very full. Auntie also bought me a lot of things here, and there are also gifts for Granny. Granny was not in a hurry to look at the gifts, but instead blamed me. Why do you call her Auntie? That's your mom. When Granny picked you up, you were only a 2-year-old child. How much pain and sadness has she endured all these years? Did she say she would let you transfer schools so you can live in the city soon? After speaking, Granny muttered to herself, going to the city is also good. There are big bedrooms in the city, and you can eat delicious food every day. People all say having a mother is like having a home. Speaking to the last sentence, Granny's eyes turned red again. Granny, I interrupted Granny's words, lifting up the bags for her to see. I can't carry them anymore. Let's go inside and talk, okay? Inside the house, I recounted everything that had happened today to Granny. Of course, I hid the fact that I was reborn and my future plans, only simply telling Granny that I would transfer schools next semester. Moreover, Mom also gave me money. Granny was very happy to hear this. Learning that Mom had adopted another daughter after I was lost, she also comforted me, instructing me to treat my younger sister well. In my previous life, Granny had also said this, but it was a pity that there was no harmony between me and Lily. Concessions only resulted in more tyrannical bullying. In this life, everything they owed me, I would take it all back. What I didn't expect was that Lily would quickly find her way to my home. Beside her was another girl. The two of them rushed into my house, rummaging through everything, making the house a mess. Old Granny, old and weak, stood at the door, wanting to stop them but not daring to, only able to shout, "Who are you? Why are you doing this? Child, why are you rummaging through other people's things?" I threw down my school bag and loudly rebuked them. "Lily, what are you doing?" Lily glanced at me, still holding Granny's sewing kit in her hand. Hearing my voice, she pretended to be frightened, letting go of her hand, feigning surprise. "Oh, Alice, you scared me." Things were scattered everywhere, and Lily even dusted her hands, muttering, "Filthy." Granny saw that we seemed to know each other and turned to ask me, unparalleled, "Is this your younger sister? What exactly is going on?" The girl standing next to Lily quickly spoke up. "What else could be going on? Your granddaughter is a thief. A few days ago, she just met Lily, and as a result, Lily's J. Givenchy bracelet disappeared without a trace. It must have been stolen by your granddaughter. Do you know how much a bracelet like that is worth? More than 4,000 yuan. Granny was a bit flustered, but still defended me. "Impossible, unparalleled wouldn't touch other people's things." "You must have misunderstood." "Misunderstood?" "Then you tell me, as soon as I met her once, my bracelet disappeared. If it wasn't her, then who else could it be?" I slapped her hard across the face. I knew that facing a petty person like Lily, saying another word was just wasting saliva. Lily was stunned by my slap. She immediately raised her hand to retaliate, but she was a young lady who had been pampered since childhood. How could she be my opponent? As soon as Lily raised her hand, I pushed her down and kicked both of them out. The two of them stood in the yard, unable to beat me and not as good as me in cursing either. I was so angry that I stomped my feet. In the end, they had to resort to threats. "Alice, you just wait and see." Before leaving, the girl who came with Lily added fuel to the fire. "Lily, you can't let her get away with this. I've inquired, she studies very well. We have to be tough. Otherwise, your mom will be snatched away by her." This time, Lily's gaze towards me became much sharper. Fortunately, after the last incident, Lily didn't come looking for me again, and I was able to peacefully get through this semester. But I knew that now was the time when Lily and I truly faced off. The new semester began, and Mom had gone through the school transfer procedures for me. Just like in my previous life, as soon as I entered the school, I was isolated. No one spoke to me. I knew it was because of Lily. In the past, I cared a lot about socializing. Even if I had to be thick-skinned and ingratiating, I would still proactively make friends with my classmates. I even wasted a lot of time on meaningless relationships. But in this life, I wouldn't be like that anymore. If no one paid attention to me, I just needed to study hard. In the college entrance exam, scores were the only standard for teachers to evaluate whether a student was good or bad. The biggest difference from my previous life was that because I took the initiative to suggest not living with Mom, it conversely made Mom care more about me. Whenever she had free time, she would come to school to find me and chat. Every time, she would prepare gifts for me. Of course, when giving gifts to me, she would also prepare a portion for Lily, but I could feel the difference in her attitude towards me. But the more she was like this, the more humble I appeared in front of her. I even deliberately kept a distance. Until one day, Mom was a little unhappy. She frowned and said, "Unparalleled, Mom knows you haven't lived with Mom since you were young, so you don't have feelings for Mom. But no matter what, Mom is still your mother. You are always so distant. Mom is very sad." I stared at her, my lips moved, but before I could say anything, a few girls walked by, whispering, "Why is that trashy girl with Lily's mom again? Don't you know? It said that she got into our school by clinging to Lily's mom. Who knows what tricks she used?" Mom heard this and immediately scolded loudly, "What are you doing? Why are you bad-mouthing classmates behind their backs? And even giving nicknames?" The girls were frightened, their faces turned pale, and they hurriedly ran away. After scolding those people, Mom asked again, "Mom has told you, if you don't have enough money, tell Mom. Don't let Granny go collect trash, isn't it embarrassing?" I quickly said, Granny is not collecting trash at all. I don't know why they said that, Mom. If you don't believe me, after school, I will take you home to see. After school, Mom really went home with me. Granny was dressed neatly, cooking in the kitchen, and the house was also tidy and clean, not at all dilapidated as before. Seeing this situation, Mom was surprised and murmured, "Why is it like this? Then how did those students know?" Then she seemed to think of something and hurriedly asked me, unparalleled, "Tell Mom the truth. Does Lily bully you at school?" I avoided her gaze and replied, "No, she doesn't." Mom sighed in relief. Mom knows. That night, Mom stayed for a simple meal. When she was about to leave, she gave me another 20,000 yuan. Mom came to school again. This time, the reason was because my scores in the first monthly exam after transferring schools were in the top 10. The homeroom teacher invited Mom to the office to explain my study situation in detail. When Mom walked out of the office, her face was radiant. Meeting me, Mom excitedly recounted the teacher's praise and expectations for me. And I just stood silently to one side. Until she finished speaking, her gaze stopped on the bruised back of my hand. Different from the indifference of my previous life, Mom immediately grabbed my hand and asked, "What's this?" I quickly pulled my hand back and explained in a low voice, "It's nothing. I just bumped it into the corner of the table myself." After speaking, I changed the subject, looked up at Mom and smiled. "Mom, actually, I'm also very jealous of my younger sister for being able to grow up by your side. But it's okay, I'm already grown up and I can't rely too much on Mom. I will try to become a daughter that makes you proud." Mom was stunned and asked me, "Could it be because of Lily?" "No, it's not related to my younger sister. It's just me being careless." This time, Mom couldn't hold back her tears, choking with sobs. "It's all Mom's fault. Mom shouldn't have lost you. Unparalleled. Don't be afraid. Mom is your biological mother. You can tell Mom anything." I glanced at Lily, who was hiding in the corner peeking. So I immediately threw myself into Mom's arms, turned my face towards her, and smiled triumphantly. Lily was completely provoked to the point of losing her mind. She rushed out and slapped me hard. Mom was stunned by this unexpected scene. She directly pushed Lily away and scolded, "Lily, what are you doing? Don't forget, she is your older sister." Lily burst into tears. "She is not my older sister. They are right, since she came back. Mom doesn't love me anymore." After shouting, Lily glared at me angrily. Without turning her head back, she quickly ran away. Lily began fighting and skipping school. Mom was constantly called to the office. When the teachers criticized Lily, Mom could only force a smile and make promises. Leaving the office, Mom's face instantly changed. She pulled Lily into a corner and began to reprimand and scold like any other mother. "Lily, why have you become like this? Fighting and skipping school. Can't you be a little more stable? Look at your older sister." Even though she hasn't had Mom's care for so many years and even grew up in a difficult environment, she is not at all inferior, well-behaved, filial, polite, and studies diligently. But before she finished speaking, Lily roared, "Older sister? What older sister? I don't have an older sister. She's just a bastard child Mom picked up from an orphanage. Isn't it because I'm not Mom's biological daughter that Mom always dislikes me? I happened to be passing by with my textbooks and coincidentally witnessed the scene. Classmates who were also passing by heard it too and curiously asked me, unparalleled, is what Lily said true? I didn't admit it, nor did I deny it. On the contrary, a classmate who often followed Lily hurriedly spoke up, of course it's true. Lily is the adopted daughter of her mom, and unparalleled is the biological daughter, just that she got lost when she was young and was only recently found again." Hearing this, the gazes of the classmates looking at me all changed. The tone of voice gradually changed from contempt to flattery. Someone even muttered, "So she's an adopted daughter? And she's still so arrogant. If I were her mom, I would have kicked her out long ago. These words, of course, also reached Lily's ears, who was arguing with Mom. She angrily glared at us, finally shouting at Mom, "If you think she's good, then just send me back to the orphanage and take her back. Don't bother with me anymore." This time, Lily disappeared for a whole month. Mom anxiously searched everywhere, even reported it to the police, but still got no results. When Mom was desperately thinking that Lily had met with misfortune, she reappeared on her own. In the freezing winter weather, she wore a short leather skirt, high heels, and a lip ring, blocking Mom's way at the company office. Mom was both happy and surprised, but when she saw Lily's appearance clearly, she still couldn't help but open her mouth. "Lily, you're still a high school student. Why are you dressed like this? How I dress is none of your business." Lily swaggered in, directly threw a stack of papers on the desk, signed here, "Hurry up, then I won't bother you anymore." Mom was stunned. After reading the stack of papers, she was even more shocked. "Will? You want Mom to divide half of the company to you? Lily, a daughter like you, how could you do such a thing? Now, quickly change out of these clothes and come home with Mom." Mom tried to take Lily's hand, but was dodged by her. Lily climbed onto the windowsill of the office, glaring at Mom. "Will you sign or not? If you don't sign today, I will immediately jump down from here." This building was more than 30 stories high, and Mom's office was on the 21st floor. Jumping down would definitely result in broken bones and crushed flesh. Mom panicked and hurriedly agreed. "Mom will sign. Mom will sign right away, Lily. Don't scare Mom. Come down quickly." Lily insisted on Mom's signing, continuing to threaten her, "Sign, and then I'll come down." Mom was coerced and had to sign her name on the paper, then raised it for her to see. Only then did Lily jump down from the windowsill. "That's more like it. Oh, besides the will, you have to transfer 50,000 yuan of pocket money to me every month. That way, we won't have anything to do with each other anymore. Otherwise, I have plenty of ways to make you famous." Mom nodded in agreement, but when she saw Lily leave, she collapsed into her chair. Of course, these things were what I overheard from the secretary when I went to Mom's company. Everyone sighed, saying that Chairman Zhang had adopted a white-eyed wolf. Some people even said that maybe the biological parents of that adopted daughter were also as vicious, so she inherited it. Mom pretended not to hear, but I could tell from her eyes that she was truly disappointed in Lily. Mom was called to the homeroom teacher's office again. This time, different from previous times, she was called to inform Mom that my English foundation was still weak, and it was best to go to tutoring classes. For the first time being invited to the office, Mom exuded the strong and dynamic aura of a businesswoman, but now she looked much more haggard. Because I had a wide network of contacts, after walking out of the office, many classmates surrounded and comforted her. "Auntie Zhang, don't be sad. Unparalleled is very good at studying." Yes, every time we ask her why she has to work so hard, she always says it's to make Auntie happy. Unparalleled is a very good girl, unlike Lily. "Auntie, you don't know before Lily." I interrupted my classmate, Youre, "Don't say any more." Mom seemed to realize something and hurriedly asked back, "Before Lily, what happened?" "Unparalleled, don't stop your classmate. Let her speak." A crowd of people surrounded Mom, each saying a sentence, meticulously recounting all the bad things Lily had done to me before. Lily's evil nature was exposed to the light of day. She tore up my books, glued 502 glue on my homework, knocked over my food, splashed ink on me, and even wrote dirty words on my school uniform. Mom listened to the point of losing her composure, panicked and rushed into my classroom, rummaged through my school bag, and poured out the torn books and school supplies that she had bought for me when I first enrolled. At that moment, her eyes turned red, and she frantically hugged me tightly in her arms. "Why didn't you tell Mom? Why didn't you tell me?" I also cried along, but still didn't forget to act well-behaved, because I didn't want Mom to worry. "Mom, you're still so young, but you already have white hair." "Mom, do you know?" "When?" When I knew Mom was my biological mother, I was so happy. I was so proud to have a beautiful and capable mother like you." She burst into tears, constantly apologizing to me. "I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. If Mom had found you sooner, if Mom had cared more about you, you wouldn't have suffered so many grievances." I cooperated with her in acting, but in my heart, I was very clear. Hadn't she already realized it long ago? If it wasn't that I was sensible, if it wasn't that Lily herself had fallen, causing her to lose all hope in her, not seeing the results of putting effort into raising a child, would she have paid attention to her biological daughter, me? Everything was just the result of her weighing the pros and cons between Lily and me. Today, after school on my way home, I accidentally saw Lily standing with a stranger. The two of them were passionately kissing and hugging in a secluded alley. In the end, Lily happily said, "I'm pregnant. Are you happy? You're going to be a dad." I was a little surprised, afraid of disturbing the two of them, so I quietly left. Pregnant? If she was pregnant, then the next act would become more and more exciting. Perhaps it was because she had obtained the will signed by Mom, so in the days that followed, Lily indulged herself even more. Because she had achieved her goal, she no longer made things difficult for me. She often skipped school and went out to play all day. The homeroom teacher sought out Mom several times again, but each time the persuasion was ineffective, and in the end, she had to give up. Mom couldn't control Lily anymore either. Apart from the company, she spent more time on me. Not only did she hire the best tutors for me, she also paid attention to my health and nutrition. In the blink of an eye, it was my 18th birthday. Mom decided to hold a grand birthday party for me. Not only that, she also invited many relatives and friends, publicly announcing that I was her biological daughter. I received blessings from everyone, and for the first time felt the halo of a young lady from a wealthy family. In my previous life, the one who was honored was Lily. She stood in the crowd, wearing a gorgeous dress, receiving blessings from everyone, just like a princess in a fairy tale. And I quietly stood in the corner of the room, like an invisible person, only able to watch everything with envious eyes. So, being loved and not being loved is such a big difference. When I was quietly enjoying everything before my eyes, Lily, not knowing from where, appeared beside me, disdainfully asking me, "Do you think you're very impressive?" I turned my head to look at her and frankly admitted, "Isn't it?" Seeing my attitude, she seemed very dissatisfied, snorting coldly and warning in a low voice, "You just keep smiling, because you will soon not be able to smile anymore." I knew she was plotting to overthrow me, but unexpectedly, the one who got slapped in the face the next day was Lily herself. That day was the physical examination before the college entrance exam, but Lily's face was pale, and she insisted on not wanting to go for the examination. I knew why she didn't want to go. Normally at school, wearing loose uniforms, no one would notice that she was pregnant, but the physical examination couldn't be avoided or skipped. Sure enough, despite strongly objecting, even making all kinds of excuses, Lily was still dragged to the physical examination. When the results were announced, everyone was stunned. Not only was she found to be pregnant, the examining doctor also announced that the fetus in her womb was already 5 months old. Because of this matter, Mom was invited to school again. She angrily flew into a rage and slapped Lily in the face in front of everyone. I knew this matter had made Mom feel ashamed. The mother-daughter relationship that was already scarce was now completely over. Lily, even after being hit, refused to give in and hugged her face, roaring, "Hit me. If you're so capable, then hit me to death." Mom was so angry that her face turned pale and her whole body trembled. In the end, she said a harsh sentence, "Mom really regrets adopting you. If I could choose again, I would rather endure the pain alone and not want to have an incompetent and useless daughter like you." In the end, she dragged Lily to go through the procedures for her to drop out of school. But because the fetus was already large, the danger was also high, and also because Lily insisted on not having an abortion, Mom had to lock her up at home. These days, I still lived with Granny in the rented house. Without Lily lingering in front of my eyes, and also with the knowledge I had learned thoroughly in my previous life, plus my own efforts, when the college entrance exam results were announced, I achieved a score of 732 points, becoming the top science student in the entire city. That day, Mom held a small party at home to celebrate. Lily was also allowed to come out. The most unexpected thing was that she was not at all angry. On the contrary, she looked at me with indifference. However, as time passed, she began to show anxiety. Seeing her appearance, I smiled and approached her. "Are you waiting for someone?" Lily blurted out, "How did you know?" I told her, "Because I've investigated it long ago. You want him to come and ruin my day today, but unfortunately he has too many criminal records, so he was arrested by the police beforehand. Moreover, it's likely that he will be sentenced to death." Lily instantly panicked. "You're talking nonsense. Today, you are definitely going to die." After speaking, she pulled out a fruit knife that had been prepared and rushed to stab me. I had already been on guard, and moreover, she was pregnant. Her body was clumsy, so I quickly dodged her attack. Everyone was still laughing and talking downstairs. Only Mom saw me and Lily wrestling upstairs. She disregarded everything and rushed over, shouting loudly, "Lily, what are you doing? Put down the knife." As soon as she finished speaking, Lily pointed the knife towards me again, but that knife did not stab me, but stabbed Mom. Lily was frightened and, in a moment of carelessness, pushed my mom, who was wearing high heels, down the stairs. Mom was stabbed and fell from upstairs. Lily was frightened to the point of premature birth. When the ambulance arrived, I followed them to the hospital, but it was all too late. When Mom was still in the emergency room, Lily's child was lost, and even her uterus was removed. Mom suffered a stab wound and then fell and hit hard, leading to full body paralysis. Lily woke up after the surgery. I specially came to visit her, recounting the matter of Mom being paralyzed. I also kindly informed her that after her wounds healed, she would have to go to jail. Lily was on a ventilator, her breath weak, but she still cursed me, "You bitch." I smiled, leaned down, "Bitch? There are even more despicable people than me. I've asked the lawyer, you intentionally caused injury, and moreover, because you are already an adult, you need to stay in jail for a few years before you can get out. Oh, and one more thing to tell you, those people who were by your side inciting you to target me were all arranged by me. I deliberately let you see Mom favoring me, stimulating you to go crazy. Luckily, you cooperated very well, step by step starting to go crazy, finally pushing yourself to death with your own hands." Lily's eyes widened, her gaze of shock gradually turning into anger and regret. She cried and cursed, "Madwoman. You madwoman. You damn bitch. I regret it. I regret not killing you sooner." Looking at her pitifully gasping on the bed, unable to move, I smiled and walked out of the ward. The case of the adopted daughter intentionally killing her mother unsuccessfully caused a public outcry. Mom, although she kept her life, was paralyzed. The gangster boyfriend who was in cahoots with Lily turned out to be involved in more serious criminal cases than I imagined and was immediately sentenced to death. I received the admission notice from Peking University as I wished, fulfilling the unfinished dream of my previous life. Before going to school to enroll, I went to the hospital to say goodbye to Mom. Seeing me, she showed a smile. "Mom is very proud of you." "Yes, I am also proud of myself." I smiled faintly, picked up an apple that had just been peeled, and said while eating, "I have to go to school soon, and I can't be by Mom's side. In the days to come, I can only entrust Mom to the nurses. Mom, don't worry, the nurses will take good care of you." I've found news of Dad. After I got lost, Dad went everywhere looking for me on a motorcycle. It's a pity that 1 week before I was found, he was hit by a car while riding his motorcycle. Until the moment he died, he still hadn't met his daughter. After speaking, I took out a blood-stained map and opened it for her to see. The blood on the map had dried and turned brown, inside marking all the places Dad had been. Beside the map was a yellowed photo. In the photo were me, Dad, and Mom, a family of 3. After losing me, Dad was also in great pain, but unlike Mom's pain that only lasted for a month, he was the one who truly suffered and tormented himself for so many years, just wanting to find me again. Mom suddenly burst into tears, but she couldn't wipe away her tears herself, only able to let the tears flow freely. Seeing her like this, I felt very refreshed and blurted out, "Mom, don't rush. In the days to come, you will have enough time to cry." Mom was stunned and asked me, "What did you say?" I cut a small piece of apple and put it in my mouth. Nothing. Then looked out the window, murmuring, "I had a dream. In the dream, Mom was very cruel. I was killed by Lily, and Mom helped her dismember my body. But at that time, I was not dead yet, just in a coma. I saw you two using tools to cut apart my body, dividing it into pieces. Mom, do you know? The feeling of being cut into pieces while still alive is really painful." Mom exclaimed, "Impossible." Then she paused, as if remembering the memories of her previous life. Her eyes widened in shock, looking at me in horror. Perhaps she finally remembered. I would let her live for a very long time, lying on the bed to feel that pain until the end of her life. As for me and Granny, we would have a very fulfilling life later on.